Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome to an update video for what I believe to be the 22nd, like how I say, I believe to be the 22nd, and then I go and check as I say that. At that point, it's not I believe it to be, it's at that point where I can say, based on what I'm looking at, it is the 22nd. Anyway, yeah, welcome to an update video. This is something that I really need to be doing more often, at least twice a year. These days it's getting to be like once a year, if I'm lucky. And it's kind of silly because there are always things to discuss in terms of the way forward for my channel, but I don't usually do it live. That's one thing that I'm doing a little differently today. And I'm also playing Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. This is a game that will certainly appear on my channel as a serious game to be played, but in the case of Castlevania anyway, I'm not really able to get through too much of it, and I'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, I thought that I would introduce to you this whole setup here. How am I playing this game? Like the vast majority of things that I do record on this channel, this is being recorded off an actual console, off an actual cartridge of the game. So I'm currently playing on my Game Boy Advance, or at the very least using it as a controller, and it's connected to my Nintendo GameCube, and connected to the GameCube is a Nintendo, well, it's called a GameCube Game Boy player. It's not really necessary for me to preface that with Nintendo. But, yeah, inside the player, which is underneath the GameCube, I have the Castlevania Aria of Sorrow game cartridge inserted, and again, playing with the Game Boy Advance as a controller, which is pretty much the best way to have an authentic experience. I am recording the GameCube also. And that's how I'm playing this game. This is something that I will record on the channel probably as a Let's Play, and it will be recorded in this way. But probably not this year, probably next year or the year after, something like that. And that's, I guess, one topic of conversation when it comes to this particular update video. It's things like, you know, what's happening with Let's Plays, because they move very slowly. The reality is that from the moment I began to work on live-streamed content on my YouTube channel, the Let's Plays kind of took a back seat. At least a lot of them have. The ones where I've been able to adapt and record them live, like most of my Zelda stuff for example, has been fairly easy to do with the whole live stream setup. But unfortunately, Let's Plays such as the Castlevania Portrait of Ruin Let's Play, which I suppose is worth mentioning given that I'm playing this game right now, that Let's Play has just been left in the dust, and the reason why is because it's a very different recording setup to record non-live. And I hate doing live recordings on my PC, and I do play that on my PC. So it's just one of those things where, okay, if more people were interested in watching it too, that would definitely egg me on. Just going live in general is the best way to reach more people, that's what I've found. It's kind of reached the point where if I do something that's not live, unless it's Doomlink's Random Hunts, that's the only exception, unless I do something live, people are less inclined to watch it. Or rather, unless I go live, people won't watch it, is what I mean to say. So where does that leave me? It leaves me not really feeling like I want to record something like Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, which is a Let's Play that I would prefer to do non-live. And so, yeah, I don't really know what the solution there is. I guess the only solution is to try and do it live at some point. I don't know how that's going to change. I don't know how I'm going to organize the setup for that, but we'll see what happens either way. The reason why I usually don't go live in these update videos is so that I'm not distracted by the chat, but I will read the chat every now and again, just in case you guys have something interesting to add. So, I'm just going to be playing through this game here fairly subconsciously. I don't really know where I should continue. I think I can see where I should continue. Anyway, the first thing that I wanted to talk about, because it is the most important thing, well no, just before I do that, I will say that in terms of update videos, I have been wanting to do an update video every single year on the same date, and that is the 10th of the 10th. I had made the decision in 2017 to do that regularly, and for some reason, every single year after 2017, the 10th of the 10th would pass me by, and I would completely forget. Like, by the time I would remember it, with every single year, it would be more and more months passing before I would actually remember, oh shit, that's right, the 10th of the 10th, I was wanting to do an update video. It was a fairly large and comprehensive update video back in 2017 where I was talking about the state of all my Let's Plays, either in progress, completed, on hold, or soon to come. And things have changed a lot since then, obviously, on that front. I don't really know how I want to deal with you. I think I know how I want to deal with you, like this. At the cost of my magic points, anyway. But yeah, the Let's Play front has changed a lot since then, and in the case of update videos in general, I am doing them less frequently these days. It was my intention to actually record this video not long after the new year, but I didn't, because, I don't know, I wasn't going to do it live, and so naturally I just didn't get around to doing it, because I was too busy, you know, enjoying the process of going live, being a very simple thing to do. That's one of the good things about going live. It's very easy, you don't have to think about it much. I mean, there's a little bit of setup time, but for the most part it's fairly simple. So yeah, I guess one thing that will change with Let's Plays is that there almost will not be non-live Let's Plays. But to discuss the live scenario, which is important because that's about to change again. If you do recall, I was originally recording on both YouTube and Twitch. That was something that I did for the reason that I could auto-archive to YouTube and essentially fulfill what I always wanted to do with YouTube, which was to treat it as my main platform of content creation. Videos would be automatically archived there while I could reach a greater audience on Twitch. Now I'm probably going to stay paused in this screen while I explain this because it's a little bit complicated, particularly for people who aren't part of the content creation process. But the reason why I stopped going live on Twitch doesn't really have anything to do with Twitch itself. It does in a sense, but ultimately it's because of the way YouTube is that it became necessary for me to go live on YouTube exclusively for a period of time, just so that I could have the auto archives to YouTube look better. Now, people don't realize this if they're not part of the whole streaming thing, but YouTube and Twitch have very different streaming requirements. It's such that if you are accommodating Twitch, YouTube cannot perform properly. In other words, YouTube requires a much higher video bitrate as compared to Twitch. And Twitch can only take so much video bitrate before it doesn't accept your video anymore. It doesn't accept your stream, it will not deliver it to an audience on Twitch. And the reason why is because the way people view Twitch videos is as Twitch goes live, or as you're watching a live stream on Twitch, you yourself need the connection speed to view the live stream okay, let me re-explain that. Let's say, for instance, a stream on Twitch is streaming at 7,000 kilobits per second. You yourself need 7,000 kilobits per second speed internet or higher in order to be able to watch that stream smoothly. It's not that way on YouTube. YouTube actually handles all of that on their side and delivers the video to you with no real requirements at all on the internet side. I'm sure there are some, but it could be halved, it could be even more than that. In other words, the requirements for a person on the internet side of things is much lower for YouTube. And what happens as a result is that YouTube requires much higher video bit rates in order for the video to look good on YouTube. And no matter what, that's not going to affect how the viewer at the other end of it is going to view it, because it's all done on YouTube's side. It doesn't involve the viewer at all. And the problem with that is that 7,000 kilobits per second, which is the maximum that Twitch can go to, it could be 6,000, but I think it's 7,000. The highest that Twitch can go ends up being pretty shit for YouTube, because ideal video bitrate for YouTube at 1080p is sitting around 10,000, not 7,000. And even then, 1080p has problems on YouTube. It seems that anything that I do in 1080p, regardless of the video bitrate, ends up looking really, really compressed and really awful. And when I say compressed, I mean like there are lots of artifacts during movement. So particularly my visual appearance here, as I'm playing a game, ends up looking really blurry. It's kind of alright if you're looking at a video game, because it's not an actual person. The way that we look at people is, you know, we have a certain recognition factor of a person's face based on the fact that we look at people in real life, right? So when you are looking at a person's face and you can't really discern features because it's getting so pixelated during movement, that's annoying. That kind of affects your viewing experience. And that's what happens when you stream at 1080p on YouTube, unfortunately. It's just what it is, because I don't know. I really did think that it was a video bitrate issue, but it seems that the solution for YouTube is just to stream at 1440, because it gives you more video bitrate to work with on their side. I don't even really know how it works. Well, I'm glad that I explained it in a way for you to understand. I'm kind of worried about explaining it so that people can understand, because it's one of those things that when you work with it, it's fairly clear, but if you're on the outside of it, you don't really understand. But basically, you need a much higher, well, a much faster internet connectivity speed if you're the streamer and you're streaming on YouTube. And of course, to get the best video bitrate for YouTube to work with, you basically have to leave Twitch in the dust, because again, Twitch will only accept a maximum of 7,000. Now, the funny thing is, 7,000 kilobits per second on Twitch, which looks terrible on YouTube, looks really good on Twitch. So what ends up happening is that I will personally have a good download. Well, okay, if I want an archive of my own, I can just download that off Twitch, that's fine. But what gets archived to YouTube ends up looking compressed and awful because of the video bitrate that I was using for Twitch. The reason why I didn't want to continue doing this is, again, because YouTube is my primary platform of content creation, and I didn't want everything that's on YouTube to just look like shit. So I made the decision to leave Twitch behind at the expense of my channel growth, so that I could at least have videos that looked nice on my channel on YouTube. And I've kind of reached the point now with YouTube where I feel like they just haven't done me any favors. The last straw for me was when, over the course of about 12 months, I managed to pick up an audience, which I ultimately lost. You know, it's very hard to really make any progress when you're a channel like mine, for the reason that I don't really do stuff that people are interested in for the most part. And I don't really advertise my stuff, and I'm very reliant on the algorithm, in other words, to deliver my content to people. And as soon as you do something that doesn't favor the algorithm, it's over. And I must have done something that didn't favor the algorithm. So I've lost about, 50% of my viewership of, 2 weeks off. It wasn't even 2 weeks. I don't think I took 2 weeks off, but it might have been about a week off. Maybe once or twice. And again, it was prior to that, viewership was dropping before that point. I think it had to do with the Zelda recordings that I was doing. I was still doing just as many, almost just as many Monster Hunter recordings, which is what gets most of the viewership on my channel. But I'm playing just so fucking terribly, it's almost not even worth recording this, because I can't do an update video and focus on playing this particular game at the same time, so I'll just sit in this screen, I guess. Oh, I didn't even know Mixer had shut down. But anyway. Clearly whatever I had done negatively affected the algorithm on YouTube, and I'll tell you one thing, I'm sick of being a slave to YouTube's algorithm. I never really considered myself to be one, and I still don't consider myself to be a slave to the YouTube algorithm. However, if I'm going to get my viewership cut in half arbitrarily, I'm not going to be sitting here going, yeah, let's just stick with YouTube exclusively. It's not just that. That's honestly a small part of the overall picture. The biggest part of the picture that really weighs on me is the fact that YouTube is terrible. It's actually really, really bad as a video sharing platform. Not even referring to things like advertisement, monetization, the algorithm that it's all based on. Not even referring to that. It is not a good website. It's almost perpetually in a beta form where certain things just don't work. When you're a streamer, or just making videos in general, if you are a video content creator, you need to have reliable tools. It's like anything. If you're building a house, you need to have tools that you can rely on, because you've got other things to worry about than your basic tools not working. And in the case of YouTube, to say that it's a situation of your basic tools ceasing to work properly is very accurate. And it's, oh, that's really funny, yeah. Well, Mixer was very interesting. I'll get back onto that point before, but I will mention that Mixer... No, I'm thinking of DLive. Is that what it was called? There was some... Mixer. Yeah, so Mixer is the other thing. I remember I tried one called DLive, and that was just so odd. It was so focused on making money that I was like, ugh. Yeah, let's not bother with that. I think I was multi-streaming. I think I multi-streamed to it once or twice ever, and it was at the beginning of my streaming career. But, anyway, the overall situation with YouTube and the reason why I don't want to rely on it as my sole platform of content creation now, and let me mention, I don't really love Twitch that much either, but YouTube is really such a mess, through and through, in so many ways, in so many regards, that I just can't be married to it anymore. I have to branch out. I'm not going to leave it behind, because I can't. I do have a certain loyalty to it, because I've been making videos on this platform for the last 11 years. And so it really had, well, 12 years, basically, yeah. And it's reached the point where it's hard to walk away from it, because you do have that attachment to the website that you've used for all this time. And of course I was on YouTube prior to actually making videos on it, but unfortunately YouTube, time and time again, with every single update, has made it clear that they really just want to keep breaking their website more and more as time goes on. And that's without even taking into consideration all of their other issues that people usually complain about. So yeah, that's what ultimately has led me to return to Twitch. Not solely because I can't leave YouTube behind, but I will just auto-archive to YouTube. It was my intention to manually process the videos that I downloaded from Twitch into 1440p and then re-upload them, but I'm not doing that. It's just too much work for each individual stream, and at this point I just don't care. I'm going to auto-archive to YouTube, and whatever the auto-archive ends up looking like, that's just what it has to be. I need people to understand that if they want to look at the videos in better quality, and most of them really don't care either way, I will mention. It's more about, like, is the quality good enough for me? That's what I'm usually concerned about. And generally my standards are higher than your average viewer. Apparently people don't mind seeing my face all pixelated during movement, I don't fucking know. But basically, I'm going to let YouTube just look like however it wants to look, and hope that people understand that if they want something that looks better, then they'll have to go and watch me on Twitch, because it will always look better on Twitch, just because of how it works. I mean, in an ideal world, they would be able to work side by side. One video setting system to work with both would be great, but it's not possible, because they're both so different in how they work that one has to suffer. So I've decided YouTube will be the one to suffer once again, because YouTube has done me no favors. Fuck YouTube, seriously. Anyway, that's the situation with that. Starting today, I'm actually going to go live in Generations Ultimate after this recording. I'm going to multi-stream to Twitch again, and I will take some time to really work on my Twitch profile. It's very bare bones at the moment because I've never really taken Twitch seriously. It's always just been a way to reach a larger audience, sort of half-heartedly, because I've always wanted to focus on YouTube, but YouTube has just reached the point where, for me, that I'm basically going to leave it behind, but I'm going to treat that as the half-hearted sort of thing that I keep in my life when it comes to making videos, whereas Twitch is going to be the main thing for me. And again, I do have issues with Twitch, but Twitch, the website, when you compare it to YouTube, looks so streamlined and clean and nice, and then you look at YouTube and it's this clunky, old, messy fucking website. Not old, just poorly designed. Just the web design for YouTube is so low level. It's fucking pathetic. It's one of the biggest websites on the internet, and basic functions of the website don't even work. It's like it's in beta form. I mean, how can you deliver a website that's barely functional to people? I don't fucking know. Twitch is definitely better for streaming, and I never denied that fact. It was more that I didn't want my stuff on YouTube to suffer because of the fact that I was streaming on Twitch. But now I don't care. As long as I am able to download for myself an archive or a VOD of the stream on Twitch, then I'm happy. Because it means that I don't have to, be stuck with whatever is archived to YouTube for the future, for posterity. I don't. That's what's going to remain on YouTube forever. In other words, someone who wants to watch a stream that I did 5 months ago will have to look at it on YouTube at lower quality because it doesn't stay on Twitch for that long. But that's okay, because it seems your average person doesn't give a shit, and I personally have the actual nice looking VOD in my own personal collection. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to upload that to some streaming service, video streaming service, that will not compress it to hell. Because if you were wondering what would happen if I were to manually upload the nice looking VOD from Twitch onto YouTube, well, it just ends up looking like a regular old YouTube archive because they compress it so much. It's mainly during movement. If nothing's going on, it looks very nice. But once there's some movement, oh my god, it just goes to shit. Funny thing is, Twitch is also not ideal for certain games. Certain very fast-paced games, such as first-person shooters, look really bad at 1080p 7000 kilobits per second, keeping in mind 7K is the highest you can go when it comes to video bitrate. And if you're at 60 FPS, impossible. 30 FPS, yeah, but who wants to play a first-person shooter at 30 FPS on PC? No one. It's just not good enough. And that's Twitch for you. So, for certain games, Twitch just doesn't even work. But you know the crazy thing? It doesn't work on YouTube either, because you need such an incredibly... well, it works on YouTube, but not for me, because I need an even higher upload than what I can manage. You need to be sitting at around 18,000 kilobits per second for 60 FPS 1080p video to look good in a first-person shooter on YouTube. So, yeah, I'm maxed out at about 15k. And again, you could even go to 20 and you'd still get more out of it, so... yeah, in terms of recording first-person shooter games, which is relevant because I was wanting to do something with a side channel called Doomlink FPS, but that was going to be mostly streaming-based, and I just can't handle how bad the moments of high emotion on the screen look. It's so pixelated, it's pathetic. You'd be better off watching at 480p at that point, because again, you're losing, like, 70% of the detail in movement. And that's not over the top, I'm talking, it goes into a muddy mess, and it has to do with video bitrate. And for some reason, 1080p 60 FPS on Twitch is still not achievable. Don't know why. Doesn't seem to make any sense to me, but anyway. That's streaming. Going back to Twitch, as I was beginning to say, I will try to actually organize Twitch so that it looks like I've taken up residence there, instead of it being some thing that I'm only halfway into, like 1 foot in Twitch, 1 foot in YouTube. I'm going to try and make my Twitch page look a little bit nicer. I'd like to be able to get the actual name of Doomlink, because whoever took the name of Doomlink with a K instead of a C at the end is not even really doing anything on Twitch. I don't think he even accesses the account anymore. On certain websites it is possible to take a name for yourself if it's from an account that is just never used. So I would like to do that if possible, but I'll be fine if that can't happen. That's one of the reasons why I'm also not big on Twitch. It's because I don't have that Doomlink name available, and I still have got no idea why. I mean, who is taking the name Doomlink? It's usually not taken, but on Twitch for some reason that one guy took it. So even with that in mind, I will try to make Twitch look a little bit nicer, you know, try to at least make it look serious, because so far, again, it's only been used as a restreaming service, quite frankly. Now, as far as Let's Plays are concerned, I am currently working through A Link to the Past. I am still doing... Well, the Let's Play that I've worked on for the longest so far has been Breath of the Wild. I am trying to get that done. I will seriously try to get it done this year. Do expect more Breath of the Wild content on my channel once I do have my Wii U in working order again. For those who are not aware, my Wii U is currently out of action because it needs to be cleaned. It's currently overheating no matter what game I play, but particularly Breath of the Wild, which pushes the Wii U to the maximum. And it's just... I just have to wait for the screwdriver for the fucking... Okay, Nintendo likes to use these security screws on their fucking console so that your average person can't open it. What if it needs to be cleaned, guys? Well, I guess you have to go and get a special screwdriver, or a head for a screwdriver, and that's what I have on the way to my residence now. Once I get that, and then I'll get some canned air to go and blow the dust out, I will be able to record Breath of the Wild again, and that should be happening either next week or the week after, so do expect lots of Breath of the Wild, because it's going to be very important for me to actually get that done. I've been recording that since the day the game came out, for fuck's sake, so it is time to get that over and done with. Phantom Hourglass will also resume once I've got my Wii U in working order. Those are 2 games that I'm recording off the same system that are Let's Plays that I want to get taken care of as soon as possible. I hate this fucking light right here. It shines right in on me, piece of shit. Let me turn off my room light. That should do for now. How's that? Oh, that'll do. So anyway, the Let's Playing situation is such that I just want to stay on top of the ones that I was recording a long time ago, as of a long time ago. So that probably means that Let's Plays such as Skyward Sword and A Link to the Past will be sort of put on the back burner, sort of, because I do want to focus on the ones that I've had on my channel for longer. But it is important for me to get Skyward Sword done by about the time the remaster comes out on Switch, because, well, I'd like to at least have the option to be ready to play the remaster at any time. Because it is possible that I won't want to play it as soon as it comes out, because I will have already just played the original game. And if the original game is really, really fucking bad the whole way through, which is starting to look like it will be, I'm probably not going to want to play the remaster immediately after, even if it's going to end up being better. So what I'm probably going to do is not play it immediately as it comes out, but again, I want there to be the option for me to do that. Of course, I'm not going to start recording the remaster immediately as the, or rather, if I'm still recording the original Let's Play. In the case of my livestream playthroughs, I'm going to get through Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. That was started after finishing Pokemon Snap, and after Legacy of Darkness, I'm not entirely sure what I should record, because again, leaving a spot open for Skyward Sword when it comes out in the remake, or remaster I should say, is also going to be related to what I'm doing with the livestream playthrough series, because I only do one game at a time in that series, because I'm already doing multiple Let's Plays. If I start doing multiple livestream playthroughs at one time, then it just gets out of hand, and I won't be able to control my progress through all of these different series. It's just going to turn into a real nightmare. So yeah, it's just one game at a time with the livestream playthrough series, and in the livestream playthrough playlist, it's one game after the other in descending order, chronologically. So it will continue to be that way. So I need to actually make sure that by the time the remaster for Skyward Sword comes out, I'm not in the middle of recording some long-ass game in the livestream playthrough series. The games that I've wanted to record for the livestream playthrough series are Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. That's really the main one that I wanted to get done. I was also going to do Monster Hunter 1, which was going to be on the PlayStation 2. Why is it so fucking bright? Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's always like this, isn't it? I actually can't control it. Let me fix this one moment. Oh dear. That's another thing that in an ideal world I would try to fix. It's the whole lighting scenario. I'm very reliant on natural lighting, and as you all know, it just doesn't work so well. At least not in my fucking country. Because it's never consistent. That should be a bit better. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, Let's Plays, livestream playthroughs. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is one of those games that, while I do want to play it, I need to be very careful when I start it, because it's going to be something that I'll be stuck on for a long time. It might take me... just because I don't think I'm going to enjoy it that much. It's going to be kind of fun at first, but it's going to get really boring after a while, so I'm probably going to feel less inclined to record for it. And what that means is that it might take 4 or 5 months to get it done. So if I were to start it after finishing Legacy of Darkness, it's possible that I'll be still halfway through the game when the Skyward Sword remaster drops. So I don't want to be in that situation. I guess there's a solution to that, and that would be just do Skyward Sword as a Let's Play rather than a livestream playthrough, but I wouldn't want to do that. I would rather do it in large bulk recordings, you know, which is what the livestream playthrough series is about. It's about long recordings where I just sort of sit back and play. But, yeah, I do have a notepad here of things to talk about, but that's mostly everything that I wanted to cover. There are probably a few little things here and there that over the last 2 years I've wanted to cover in these videos, but they're probably so out of date now, like those topics, that it's probably not worth discussing. I apologize that I didn't end up playing this game more while talking, but it's not easy actually to do that while I'm here trying to coherently discuss what I'm doing. But as far as what to expect today, I'm about to go live on Twitch for the first time in about 6 months, something like that, maybe a little longer even. And it's going to be in Generations Ultimate. And it's not because I really want to play Generations Ultimate right now, but particularly because it feels like a good game to return to Twitch with. And yeah, that should be fairly good. As the days draw on, I will try to work on my Twitch page again, just to make it look a little bit nicer. It's pretty simple at the moment. But that will probably conclude the the update video. Usually they're a little more concise than this, but I've felt a little bit distracted, so maybe my explanations weren't as good as they could have been. But anyway, I do thank you all for watching, if you have stuck around, and I will go live in the next 10 minutes or so on Twitch in Generations Ultimate. I will also be streaming on YouTube, but I would encourage any person watching on YouTube to go join me on Twitch. And I'm not going to have that scrolling text on the bottom of the screen anymore that mentions my YouTube URL. I would like to direct people to YouTube, I will say, but I just don't want the video cluttered with that writing anymore. I look back on the old recordings where I had that and I compare them to the recordings that I do these days where it doesn't have it, and god, it's so nice not to have it there. I just hate stuff on the screen. It should just be me and the game. That's the way you do it. It's just cleaner, it's nicer. Anyway, I'll see you guys in whatever recording of mine you want to see next. If you're moving on to that Generations Ultimate stream, then I will see you in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And thank you all for watching. Bye bye.